Thank you so much for your time, Emilio. First of all, can you tell us about yourself?
Okay, so I'm uh, I came to Canada in 2015. It was like October 31st. I will never forget. It was a Halloween night, so everybody was dressed and everything in the airport, and you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from Dominican Republic,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it was a little bit of a shift from coming from a hot, kind of mild weather into the winter already, because it was just November. I remember that November was a really good weather, but then yeah, the winter caught on us, and but yeah, it was still good. Like snow, everything was fresh and new. So yes, I have a background as a software engineer. It's most commonly known as a systems engineer over there, but here it's just equal to a bachelor in computer science. So basically, uh, I discovered myself as a software developer, which is the more um, centralized and like I would say focused area of all my skills.
Good. Um, can you tell us about your professional background in your home country?
Yes. So after I graduated from university as a computer science and system engineers professional, I started in a job, a normal 8 to 5 job as a software developer. But in less than 2 years, I decided to go freelancer. And this is a key part of my professional career because I spent like from 11 to 12 years as a freelancer. And for me, doing that over there wasn't that big of a difference like it is here. Like here, it does accrue to your skills and your background. Where are you coming from? If it is from a job, if it is from a freelancing kind of approach, or if it is from kind of consulting type of experience where you are joined by more like a team of more consultants. So yes, like I used to go into clients and gather requirements and create web applications for them.
And would you be able to share about the journey you took in terms of your career here in Canada?
Yes, yes, and I would love to because I have some notes here I like to share. So, being a freelancer kept me away from making a resume. Like for 11 years, I didn't need to worry about creating a proper resume. I created proposals instead. So when I got here, I started like applying to jobs and I never got responses. But after taking the workshop here, I learned about resume formats and targeting, which were key for me to learn how to write my experience. But then getting to know that and put all of that into the perspective of skills based experience, it was the best experience for me. And then that's how I began my journey of self-discovery again, because now I had like all this background, 14 years of experience, and I translated all of this into a skills-based resume. So after I did that, and of course, having the metrics and the measurement set, like raising the bar here, saying like, oh, you have to apply like 5 jobs a day, 5 postings a day, and it was like a really high kind of measurement, but it helped a lot because I came to realize that the more I applied to postings, the more I learned, the more I refined my resume, and I ended up like having 6 iterations of my resume, and that was key. That was key because I ended up that helped me apply and target my resume to over 100 postings in a time lapse of 3 months roughly. So it helped a lot. Another thing that I did, and that for me was like my day to day, my bread and butter, was having a spreadsheet. So I had a spreadsheet with all the postings I encountered, and I was planning to apply, or I already applied, and I had also logged the dates when these postings were listed, then when did I apply, and when I got a response. So I started off a little bit without it, might say. It might be it's sloppy or not, but I started without it, and I noticed that I would lose track of everything I applied to. Like I needed some central repository or a list that I could consult every day and check on what I had applied before. Because some of the postings would come back with a different name or with a different department, and I would have to tell the differences between those. But most importantly, I learned something unexpected, and it was that the timing from posting to applying matters a lot. It's it's like life changing. A post would get listed on a Tuesday, for example, and depending on how many hours it would take me to reply to that, it would also reflect on the time they would get a response back from them. I would get a response back. So I would get to have recruiters get back to me real time. Like if I would apply for a job within minutes or an hour of being listed on LinkedIn or one of the other sites like Indeed, they would reply to me that same moment. It was like, whoa, it's changing. Like some other postings that they maybe had like 4 or 5 days of being listed, it would seem like they would go cold. Like you wouldn't get a response that fast. If it is something rare or some kind of a specific type of role, you will get a response like on 3 weeks or maybe a month. I would got those. I got even a response like month and a half or 2 months after I applied, but that was crucial to learn that timing is crucial. So if you put that all together and have a second pair of eyes, or maybe 4 or 5 people looking into your process, that also helped me a lot because my resume got reviewed by many people. I would send out to colleagues, friends, like just tell me what you see. Just any feedback, and any feedback would be gold. Because if I would get, for example, a comment saying, "Oh, I don't get what you do," now I know I need to rework that because this colleague of mine doesn't know exactly. So that's a hint for me to improve my resume, and that's how I got to those versions. So other things I did. Yes, it was that I spent like all of this process took me like 8 to 12 hours daily. So I would put average like 80 hours per week. So for me, part of the motivation behind it was not just the thrill of getting to know this market, but also the financial pressure. It was there. It was real. Like if I would take a survival job before knowing all this, like my process would either be too slow